know about it, and she told me about it a week before I went for the reading, and I didn't even think about going into the reading. And Bro said that she had to go and get this test done, and just like it clear, I'm like, oh my God, I just figured this out a week ago. She told me that she was going through this, and she had to go get this test run, and she was reluctant to get it done because she didn't know what it was. But then Bro confirmed that that's what she used to go through, and it was without me even prompting him or saying anything about it. Like, it was just, he totally just brought it up right away.
That's interesting, and that's the kind of thing that I wonder, Bro. Like, when I go into a reading, and I've only had a handful of them done in my whole life, right? But when I go into a reading, I often wonder, like, okay, because I think, are they going to say anything about my grandmother? Are they going to say anything about my mom? Are they going to say this, or are they going to know that my brother got remarried, or are they going to, you know? And these things go through my head, and I wonder, can some of it be mind reading, or is it all because of, you know, the way the universe and psychic faculties work? I mean, is there a link at all that I happen to just be thinking about it, or is that just coincidence in that respect?
Oh, sure, and then it also brings up, that's a really good question. It also speaks to the people who have great readings, and then people who find that they can't really get a great reading, even though all their friends had sat with a very gifted medium, and they can't get a connection. Well, the thing is, there are some mediums who are very telepathic by nature. There's different faculties to the gift. For example, some people who have an artistic mind are very prone to music, while others are very good painters. And it's all the same sort of area of the brain. There are psychics who are great at reading into the script of life, as it were, which they're getting premonitions and remote viewing and seeing non-local events. And then there are psychics who are very good telepaths, like my great mentor, Paola, who is a psychic from Montreal. And she will tell you exactly what has been going on in your life, and her predictions often are because she'll tell you what you're wanting at the time. But we go to see her because it's Paola. We love Paola. It's not even to see her reading. She's just so sweet and puts everything at ease and validates you. Myself, I find I'm not a good telepath. I'm a terrible telepath. In fact, I'm being interviewed to do a television pilot with another psychic in Toronto soon, and she asked if I had telepathic skill, and I said no, not at all. But what I'll do is I'll tune into the life, and so I think in Andrew's reading, one such example for Andrew was I think I told him, because he and I talked today, so he reminded me of what I said about how he could go to Australia on a trip in the future, and he said right there in front of me, no, not really, and I just sort of didn't say anything, and I thought to myself, well, I'm the psychic, not you, so just... And then, but that certainly wasn't mind reading, because if it was mind reading, I would never have brought up Australia, because it was not in his consciousness. And after the reading, he called me today to tell me that when his mom was talking to him, she said, oh, did the psychic mention anything about Australia? And Andrew goes, as a matter of fact, he did. Why? And she goes, well, now that I just found that I had cousins there, I was thinking, you know, that could be a potential place we could visit in the future. So things like that will come through, which to me are validations over the years of having people have disagreed with me in the moment but come back to tell me it made sense later, as to confirm that I'm really tuning into a plan, that life, as it were, is fated to a certain degree.
Well, and even for me, Bro, you said about there was the trip to Florida, and you said sometime between October and December of this year there's going to be a trip to Florida come up. And again, I said, the reading was done, I think, in September, and so I'm like, the next 4 months, I really don't think I'm going to be going to Florida. I don't really know anyone going down there. And 2 days later, I met up with my friend Jen, and I was about to tell her about the reading. She goes, oh, before we start, I'm going down to my parents' condo in Florida. Do you want to come with me? And I'm going out in October. And I'm like, no, you didn't just say that.
Wow.
Yeah. So Andrew does not live with 3 dead ladies. He definitely is a person who does take trips.
Oh, excellent.
They come up.
Well, we're glad to know you're getting out, Andrew. That's really important.
Evidently more than we are, because I haven't been to Florida in a long time. I've been to Australia.
Yeah, well, you know, I think a good means to get out of the house is if someone dies in the house, you might want to get out and let someone know.
Or at least have somebody, you know, chuck them out to the curb or something. I mean,
yeah, get them out of there. Because, I mean, it's dead weight, literally.
Why am I saying this? How do you decorate that up? Do you put bulbs on it for Christmas?
Yeah, well,
like, wow.
Well, yeah, sleep on it, kick it. I don't know. Do whatever you want. But okay.
So who is psychic? Like,
we're going to hell for that. You realize?
I'm trying to go on the topic.
Focus, Doug. Focus.
And you're totally on that dead lady. That lady's dead.
Well, where the hell did it come from?
I don't know. Oh, because
it's my fault now for dwelling on it. Okay. All right, I'm sorry, Doug. Go ahead.
I lost control.
I didn't mean. All right, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm physically taking myself out of channel right now.
You don't have to.
All right, go
ahead. So you're going through life, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to need a psychic, right? And how do you find a good one?
Who is this to me? Yeah.
It could be to anybody, because at this point, I don't know, it could be the dead people's.
Bro. I think you'd be more the authority on this. That's a good question.
Well, I'm sure Bro might say something like, you go to walkthroughwalls.org/broperkins.html or Ghostlytalk3, there's a link. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Well, I have a set of rules that I usually tell people, and the number one rule is never to go into a place that has an advertisement on the front. Not by rule of thumb that they're all fake, but mostly you can tell a genuine medium is a person who's probably been traumatized from this ability their whole life. You can't find us very easily. Andrew, actually, the way we met was very interesting. He and I both dated the same person, and he dated that person after myself, so he got in touch with me sort of through my ex, who was also his ex, and so he kind of knew about me through a friend or a referral, and that's how it always works. I never advertise. So a good psychic is always hard to find because they tend not to advertise unless they're well known, like James Van Prague or George Anderson in New Jersey. These are very gifted people, and I think when you look at their history, when they started out, they were also very much the same. They didn't advertise, those men.
Well, and that's what I've a lot of people I've talked to, like that, that have psychic abilities. I mean, there's lots of names for it, but if they're psychic or they have mediumistic qualities or things like that, I've heard the same story from a lot of them. And these are the people that don't have a shop or they don't advertise. They're people I've talked to and they've been on the show or we just talked in conversation. They're like, Scott, when I realized or I had that moment, because it seems like everybody with these abilities has this moment where they realize something, there's more to me than just the flesh and bone here, and I can see a little bit more, it seems like, than other people can. They say it's terrifying. It scares the heck out of them. They can't sleep for some nights because they're so freaked out because of the things they hear and or see, right?
And Bro was talking about that when, because Bro, the first show you did, the first Ghostly Talk, that you did, you were talking about growing up like that. And it was just, you knew, well, at first you thought it was completely normal, and then, people are like, no, you're not normal, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not normal, how the heck do you deal with this? And nobody wants to talk about it, and what do you do, right? Wow. And
well, I had a lot of experiences in school with it. That's how it really came up to me, was through my education, and my first premonition, I was just entering the first grade. And I had a very best friend that I used to spend the summer with because we belonged to the same public pool team, swim team thing, and his name's John Philippe. And this was back in Montreal, and we were inseparable. Like I was around him every summer, and then in school we always sat next to each other. And school had just started. It was probably September or October of the first grade, and I had a dream one night that my friends and I were on the playground outside the school, and my friend John Philippe was running away from me, and I couldn't seem to catch up to him, and this other young boy said to me in my dream, he doesn't want to be your friend anymore. And it was one of those dreams where I woke up actually upset, like when that you can't shake that feeling. And I went to school that day, and I thought, I was just a kid, but I had thought that I would tell my friend about this dream and that I'm angry at him still, even though it was just a dream, and I couldn't get close to him that day. From that day on, he had rejected me and hadn't been wanting to be my friend. And so this was a common theme, is that a lot of psychic people, especially children, have a lot of heartbreak because they're not aware of why the heck it is they're freaking out, or why it is that they see the things they do when they're unaware of it. And relationships, and this was something that the real Alison Dubois mentioned in an interview. She said relationships for psychic people